Good morning, Patriot fam. Do you ever want to just hit your like alarm button and just be like, nope, not right now, 5 more minutes? That's kind of how I felt with our Krista. And she's like, are you ready? I'm like, five
I was
more
like, wait,
minutes.
let me get a sip in first. But yes, we're ready. We're
Need
ready.
a
Hey, Allie,
snooze button. I'm so sleepy.
but we're almost there. Tomorrow's Friday, and you know what it is? It's this time of year, and I think if you've got the hustle and bustle of having small children, whether you celebrate, whatever holiday you're celebrating and whatever your gift giving you're doing, it's like, and then they're going to be home, like for the whole day, for like weeks, and the teachers are probably elated, but it's like I was sitting next to a parent yesterday at the school board meeting, and they were like, or a couple days ago, she was like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for them to be home all day. It's a lot. And then you have maybe family coming in to visit. It's just, it's a busy time.
It is a lot. I mean, I always love being around my kids. I don't care if they're home. I'd rather have them here anyway than at school, to be honest with you. I panic nowadays when they go to school. If you know what I mean? It's just, if I could do this and homeschool at the same time without losing my mind, I probably would. But now that we're talking about kids, I want to leave you guys, I want to not leave you guys, but I want to lead you guys with this. This is actually pretty funny. I heard this yesterday on Joy FM. If you guys are, you can get Joy FM anywhere. It's a Christian radio. You can get the app. They have different ways that you can listen, different actual like playlists that you can listen to. They have like positive hip hop and uplifting songs that are still Christian based. It's really awesome. The app is great. Anyway, I'm listening on the drive to school, or was it home after school? I think it was after school. And JR, it was his show, and he had a question. I was like, what are your Christmas or holiday traditions? And someone called in and said, my nephew's name is Adam, and he had the question, why is there no, like, he's like, there's Christmas Eve, but we don't have Christmas Adam. Okay. And so they were like, all right, so now what they do is on the 23rd, they go out and celebrate Christmas Adam by eating ribs.
Because Adam and Eve.
My daughter thought this was the most hilarious thing she had ever heard in her whole life. And she cracked up like her gut belly laugh. It was so funny. It was adorable. I love kids.
So are y'all doing ribs on the 23rd then? Is that that's what that message was in our group chat? Because I was like, all I saw was ribs, and I'm like, I don't eat ribs, so I'm okay.
And then my son, who's 12, he goes, ew, that's gross.
Now it has a whole different meaning. Now he knows what he's eating, what part of the animal.
It was so funny. I was just like, oh my God.
I thought you were going to introduce our little guy here before we roll our intro.
You can introduce him. Okay. Oh my gosh, wait. You found him, but I noticed him and I was so excited at your house.
So I found him. I actually think maybe Bree gave him to me.
Really?
Yes. He ended up at my house. And generally, if a strange man enters your home, you're like, get out. But he looked a lot like Donald Trump. And so instead of being Elf on a Shelf, because he is Donald Trump, we have decided, what are we calling him?
Don on the lawn. But we just call him Donnie the Elf because,
Well, when you say Donnie, I think of Junior, and he's getting married, and we wish you the best. But yeah, I know. So he's going to sit here. You have to follow us on social media at Open Mic Ladies to see all the shenanigans this guy gets into.
Oh my gosh, he gets into a lot of shenanigans. It's actually pretty funny.
We're going to talk about so much today.
Right now.
So much today. We're going to also unpack a little bit of humor along the way because we figured you might need it. We need it. So let's go ahead and open that mic.
Red hat stays on. Red hat stays on. Red hat stays on. Red hat stays on. Take 'em back on freedom. Back to where we started. We're wearing our red hat tonight. It takes more than just a feeling. Oh, better be believing. And America's gonna be home.
What do you do when they try to cancel you? MAGA Nation, we cancel proof. My red hat stays on. My red hat stays on. You know I love God, but in Trump I trust. November 5th, he gon' ride with us. Our red hat stays on. Our red hat stays on. It's the mayor of Maggieville, the RNC King. 2024, freedom gon' ring. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. I'm still fighting for each one of you. And keep your red hat on.
What do you do when they come for you? Freedom's what you gotta lose. Red hat stays on.
Maybe you could get like a Santa bag.
You need a what?
A Santa MAGA hat. Like, so it's a Santa hat.
But it has MAGA on it. Ooh, I'm gonna make one.
I bet you can. Your kids would probably love that. Oh my gosh, project. Well, welcome to Open Mic, guys. Wherever you're joining us from, whatever platform, we're grateful that you found us. Please make sure you like, share with your friends, share through word of mouth, let people know, and make sure you subscribe where you can. And follow us personally at Real Allie Leger, at Michelle Posey, and at Open Mic Ladies. It helps you keep in touch with us when we're not on the air. But we want to just thank you so much for your viewership. And thank you again, Patriot TV. We're so happy to have you.
And today, I think, is the first day of AmFest. So shout out to all our Patriot friends that are out at AmFest. We have serious FOMO right now. So sorry we could not be there. It just didn't work out that way.
Scheduling conflicts, and some of that's my fault, I know. But
it is
we have to close chapters. And we're going to close chapters if it means staying here and finishing that chapter. Ellie's like, I'm not impressed, ma'am. I want to be in Phoenix. Did you see the amount of security around there? I'm like, this is a gathering for young people, right? Like, are we, is it?
Yeah, well,
is this Kosovo or is it like?
Yeah. Well, when you have idiots that are trying to, permanently silence conservatives, I would expect lots of security, hired
Allie,
security. And don't think that there aren't any that are undercover as well. So tread lightly, you terrorists.
Absolutely. Well, Allie, I was telling our tech team here that I had a conversation yesterday afternoon. Just one of our Club America students from a high school here reached out and was like, Miss Posey, I just have to talk to you. Like, and I could tell he was kind of a little distraught. And so we, I reached out on the phone, and he had a whole list. I mean, Miha, a whole list of what him and his chapter members have been going through at one of our local high schools. Not just by other students, other because Club America, for those of you that don't know, is the Turning Point USA high school chapter. So we've got them here, we help lead that. But even other high school groups, what they're doing, some of the teachers, some of the faculty, some of the administration, he's written it all down and really trying to work with these young people, because he wasn't fearful at all, but he was angry. And he was like, "Now I just want to we got to do something." I was like, "Okay, we're going to report this." It's very interesting, because I can't imagine being 16, 17 years old and getting kind of this civic footing where you're kind of awakened to your duty, your civic engagement, and now you want to do all this good stuff. And it's all you want to do is do the right thing and try to just get out and have your voice heard. And people are meeting you with bullying.
Especially
not for
adults.
Your sexual identity or gender or anything, literally for having a voice.
It is crazy to me, dissenters. Like it's absolutely wild. And it's from the side that preaches tolerance, but yet you can't be tolerating of a different opinion than yours. Absolutely. Or the fact that children want to speak up for themselves, but you want to advocate for kids. I don't understand. You can't have it both ways. It's
right.
This is not a polygamous relationship.
Absolutely. Well, so keep our young people, especially out there at AmFest, keep all of them in your prayers today.
Like, honestly, the way that he's even thinking about it by recording it and writing it down, I think that's genius. So not a lot of 16-year-olds would do that. So good job, Mom. I'm pretty sure, Mom and Dad.
This young man was recently baptized. He was at our Christmas party Sunday. He carries his Bible with him. Aww. And when I'm telling you, like, this next generation, we've done good, guys. We may have, as parents, we have our own issues of what we may have done right or wrong, and we always beat ourselves up about that, but this next generation, they get it, and God is moving. God is moving through them, and it's worth it.
So I want remote control down long enough.
Ouch, I felt that. But I want to talk a little bit about Trump's addressing the nation. I actually was at a Christmas party for young Republicans here. And I was like, I got to get home because I want to hear it. And I want to like popcorn. It was so good.
It was good.
It was so good. I can't do it the way you do it. Do it. Do it.
It's so good. It's the best.
Let's take a listen to just a part of Trump's address to the nation.
Good evening, America. 11 months ago, I inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it. When I took office, inflation was the worst in 48 years, and some would say in the history of our country. which caused prices to be higher than ever before, making life unaffordable for millions and millions of Americans. This happened during a Democrat administration, and it's when we first began hearing the word affordability. Our border was open, and because of this, our country was being invaded by an army of 25 million people, many who came from prisons and jails, mental institutions, and insane asylums. They were drug dealers, gang members, and even 11,888 murderers, more than 50% of whom killed more than one person. This is what the Biden administration allowed to happen to our country, and it can never be allowed to happen again.
All right. Well, what do you think about that? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah,
so
I
I enjoyed listening to him talk about all that he's done. I think this is his way of saying, and he didn't say it in this much detail, but when he said that, what I thought sitting on my couch is, yeah, do you remember during COVID when they shut everything down and, hiked up our debt with PPE loan or with PPP loans and all these things they did through COVID, the government, how it totally tanked our economy by locking everything down and then put us more in debt and then gave those handouts largely to people who probably didn't need it anyway and made it something that's not, you don't have to pay back. Like, it's really crazy. Right. And then they went on to remember Pete Buttigieg under Biden, how he was like the transportation secretary. I love to say that name, Buttigieg. Sorry. I'll be an adult. Okay. And he
roll up, Michelle.
he could not listen. Let me have my fun. It's been a rough week. He kept a lot of ships offshore that couldn't dock and couldn't come into the ports in order to unload goods. So you saw like the prices of everything go sky high because everything was so scarce. Then you remember how we had that issue with Taiwan and, are we going to be able to get these parts to be able to, these chips that apparently are only made on one island to be able to build cars. So the cost of everything. Then Jerome Powell with the Federal Reserve, he won't, do anything about interest rates. So you've had this whole machine working diligently against the American people to make sure that it is a bad economy. So when he says, I inherited a mess, I saw
he ain't lying.
No.
He ain't lying. I love this. On a strategy standpoint, I mean, think about what's happened this last week, right? How everything kind of set up for everybody's on the edge of their seat, right? Like, what is going on? Are we going to war with Venezuela? Like, what is happening? What is happening? We got
Are there UFOs? What are we?
Like, what is going on right now? Like, what is he going to talk about? Is it aliens? Is it war? And so like he had everybody on the edge of their seat. It's 9:00 on a Wednesday. Not like there's any like primetime like massive like TV show that is doing extremely well on some crazy network that nobody watches anymore. Like, it wasn't something, you know what I'm saying? Like, this was a perfect strategy. And I really think that we should thank Susie Wiles for that, to be honest with you, because he literally consolidated the last 11 months in 22 minutes. Guys, you know that President Trump can speak for hours. This man can talk forever. Okay.
Don't get him off the teleprompter.
Right. And don't let him leave because you're going to lose the audience. And so I think making sure that that he consolidated the last 11 months by starting off with saying, I inherited a mess from the Democrats. Here is what it looked like, and here is what we're doing to fix it. This wasn't to reach the base. This was to reach the people that watch CNN, that watch ABC, that watch all of the other legacy media that will not.
Because they have to carry it.
Right. That will not post the truth. They will not report on the truth. But this was great because it had an entire like soundbite. Like, you could clip the sound bites that are coming out of this speech of 22 minutes.
Yes.
Are incredible.
Well, they're incredible. But he put the punch at the beginning. And that's what I love. He didn't bury the lead. And right. I agree with you. I think this is the second time now that we're saying publicly from this platform, because we've been largely skeptical, and that's what we do. But second time we're saying thank you, Susie Wiles, because the first time is really with that push to get Trump out to drum up the interest over the 2026 election. That's never really been done by any president before, because largely 2 years into their administration, they're not as popular as they were before. So many times the incumbent party is like, sit this one out, because you're not as popular. Not so with Trump. He's holding the popularity, and as he continues to do this, and as Speaker Mike Johnson, they go into the new year wanting to codify those executive orders. I think this is like a win-win-win. So we want to say publicly, Susie Wiles, we thank you, because I believe, from what I'm hearing, this is largely an open ear to the base. And hasn't that been our prayer the whole time?
Absolutely. I mean, I do think that the interview with Vanity Fair was kind of like a setup, to be honest with you. Like, why? You know, I mean, you saw what they did to Melania. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, it is just, you could have done two. You should have done two. Vanity Fair and like an independent journalist. Like, you know,
like open mic. We would have had you on, is what I'm saying.
We just don't do print, so it'd be a little.
I would have done print for Susie Wiles.
That part. But I think this was definitely necessary for the midterms to kind of boost that up a little bit. This is going to keep playing out throughout the last couple of weeks of the year. And then I think we're going to start the year off really strong with what Speaker Johnson was saying about codifying the 150 of these codifiable,
which I didn't know was a word.
Executive orders. But he was selling
Ali,
America's
what did you think,
future.
though? What did you think about, and guys, this is America's best president. I mean, I love George Washington and a couple others, but what do you think about the warrior dividends? He announced active duty service members in grades 0 through 6 and below, and reserve component members in grades 0 through 6 and below are on active duty orders of 31 days or more. They are eligible for these warrior dividends. They're going to get $1,776. He said they're already on their way.
Guys, and so we had, I have a friend of mine who's like, you know, we just got information from the Department of War. They came out and said that it'll take up to about 3 days. So if you don't see it in your bank account right now, active duty service members, just wait a couple days. You'll see it. And I honestly, $1,700 that can change a private's life. Like,
honey, it changes Christmas.
It does. It changes Christmas. It can change your credit score. Like, I mean, honestly, it really can. And our military already don't get paid enough. They don't. Right. They don't get paid enough for the sacrifice that they make when they decide to serve our nation. And the sacrifice and the cost of freedom is so steep that the compensation is minimal. It is. It really is minimal unless you're an officer.
It reminds me of our first responders. It reminds me of our teachers.
It's the
Absolutely.
same.
I'm so grateful. So, I mean, and can you imagine, you know, being a CNN viewer, and so you're just buckled in for like 22 minutes because you're like, oh, whatever. And then you hear that. Like, how does your Trump derangement syndrome kick in for that? Like,
well, he had to, honestly, because I think at about 25 minutes, people start to go like this. They pick up their phones.
Yeah.
But because it was on edge the entire time, like everybody's trying to figure out, well, is he going to talk about Venezuela? Is he going to talk about Venezuela? Is he going to talk about Venezuela? Like you know what I mean?
I was doing the same thing. I'm like, where are the aliens, sir? Where are the aliens?
Right. Like everybody is on edge. And so it had to be less than 30 minutes. Otherwise, people are going to lose interest.
The only thing that was missing was like little elf cheerleaders or something in the back. Would have been very nice. Who did this? Let's take a look at this. Is cute. I'm sorry, this is really cute. I like my elf on the shelf, but that is bringing in those warrior dividends. I like it.
I'm going to need President Trump to grow a beard.
Sir, hear me out, though. There's this show that's really popular. It's called Yellowstone. And it's making beards great again. And I think
Santa Trump.
And I think Melania would probably love this look. Probably. You know, you just kind of
maybe.
It's cute, and he's making warrior dividends for our.
I like that. I thought that was cute.
That is adorable. I don't know who did that. Politorican posted it. Oh my gosh!
I like his content. It's so funny.
Well, guys, we go from laughter to I don't know. It's kind of. I don't know how to feel. I have two feelings about this, which is not uncommon for females. But I want to hear what you think, Allie, because I know we can think two things about the same topic. Dan Bongino, we know we've got inside sources that kind of keep us connected with what he does and what he says. And when we were talking about this the other day, it hadn't quite dropped, and then I saw this. Take a look. He posted. Of course, he's the deputy director of the FBI under Kash Patel. He says, I'll be leaving my position with the FBI in January. He wants to thank Trump, Bondi, Patel for the opportunity. God bless America and all those who defend her. Allie, it's sad because there's a part of me that, like, when somebody like Bongino's in that office, you just have even more, you feel so much better because it's like one of us. It was like if Charlie Kirk would have gone to serve in the administration somehow, you're like, oh, we got it. But I also am kind of excited to potentially see him return to the microphone.
I don't know. I think he might have an NDA and he will not be able to disclose a lot of the things that he found. So I'm not excited. I'm not excited about it.
An
and
NDA about what's happened so far, but not an NDA about but he can still report on what's going on.
He can report on what's going on, and maybe he has sources inside still, and he can, gather some information. Yeah. But I get it. He was on the news. I can't remember what. I think it was maybe Fox. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head. There's been a lot of media going on. But he had mentioned that his wife was struggling, and he sits behind a desk and stares at 4 blank walls every day. I get it. That's hard. When you go from being able to be your own boss and, like, kind of walk around and do your own thing, like, I get that. And then you're under so much scrutiny and so much, like, there's a lot of tension, a lot of pressure. I get it. But you knew that going in, sir. And now that you're out, I almost want to know, when are we going to dismantle the FBI? Because I don't think it could be fixed. I really don't think it could be reformed. I really do think that it needs to be.
And I think that's a question he needs to be asked is, so first, let's roll the clip that you're talking about. I believe we have it is from Fox News. This is Dan Bongino. Take a listen.
I mean, I gave up everything for this. I mean, my wife is struggling. I'm not a victim. I'm not Jim Comey. It's fine. I did this, and I'm proud I did it. But if you think we're there for tea and crumpets, well, I mean, Cash is there all day. We share it. Our offices are linked. He turns on the faucet. I hear it. He's there. He gets in at like 6 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't leave till 7 at night. I'm in there at 7:30 in the morning. He uses the gym. I work out in my apartment. But I stare at these 4 walls all day in D.C., by myself, divorced from my wife. Not divorced, but I mean separated, divorced. And it's hard. I mean, we love each other, and it's hard to be apart.
But you're doing some great work. You straighten out the FBI,
well,
you're moving buildings, there's a lot of change.
And I think, let's be honest here, Allie. Not going to get emotional. That job, and any job, I think in the political world, or even what we do, it can be hard on relationships.
Absolutely.
It takes a special person, and we know people who have done it and who are doing it really, really well. It takes a really special person to want to champion you and to stand by you and let you kind of both walk a really, your own individual paths while still being there for each other. But I'm sure this has been difficult for him. But, we have service members that are deployed for years, a year at a time. Very difficult. We have first responders that have to work holidays that are not with their families. I mean, there's, and I love how he says he's not a victim, but I don't know. I part of me is hoping that that he returns to the microphone, maybe not speaking about past tense, but what's going on forward. And I think somebody needs to ask him. I don't know if he'll be able to answer it, but I would love to get a chance to ask him. Sir, do you think we should scrub the FBI, just as you said? I mean, do you think, is part of it that, remember how we said we were feeling that heaviness of like, why, where's everybody being held accountable? I wonder if he's feeling a little bit like, wait, I gave up this for this. We're still not we're not able to push it across the finish line. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, and it almost, I kind of sometimes feel like a part of it is deflating. Dan Bongino was one of the main light bearers to dismantle the FBI. He was going to go in there and bulldoze. You know what I mean? And that wasn't something that he wanted to do. He was asked to, and he felt obligated, which is great. And I'm glad he did it. And I'm sure he's glad he did it. It's just, it's one of those things that, you just.
Well, I did get a message from one of our sources, and he says to remember that Dan Bongino was in the Secret Service on Barack Obama's detail, also an NDA required, but he has been able to talk about certain parts of that job. He doesn't go into some detail about it, and that there are a lot of press secretaries for administrations that then go on to serve in media. And there are parts that also with an NDA, right? And there are parts that they talk about, parts that they don't. So I guess that is a good reminder. And I didn't realize for watching. So now I'm nervous.
Thanks for watching.
Thank
Appreciate
you. So anyway, I think that's important. Maybe go ahead.
I do like that you mentioned deployments though, because I have a friend of mine, and I'm like, look, your terms in Congress are like deployments, and it does take a strong woman or a strong spouse to understand what that looks like, especially someone that has been through it, understands it, recognizes it, understands the pitfalls, know where your anxiety is going to be. Like, you need somebody that really does understand the job and what goes in order for them to really support you while you're serving, because it is a service, especially if you're doing it the right way.
Yeah, absolutely, Allie. Absolutely. So we wish Dan Bongino the best, and his family. We'll see what comes of that. We have sources that are really working hard to see if maybe, we could get a little love here on open mic and maybe get a guest interview. We would love that. You shared this with me, and I don't know if you guys are aware. Former Florida Senator and now Secretary of State Marco Rubio actually has, 3 jobs in the government. You think Secretary of State is a big one? He is also Trump made him the acting administrator of USAID as they're defunding it. Yep. And he also made him the acting archivist at the National Archives and Records Administration. So now he's going to be
the president of Venezuela.
No, look, it says Marco Rubio finding out he has to run the FBI now too. Because Cash is too busy dating and Bongino has a family to take care of or something.
I saw one that said, I always wanted, you got this, Marco. I know I always wanted to be president. I just didn't know it was going to be Venezuela.
Poor Marco Rubio.
But so he changed his profile pic. That picture came up, and then he adopted it as his profile picture.
Did he really?
The first comment is JD Vance. It says, "I owe you $1,000." And I'm like, are these the brand new shoes that Trump bought you? Is that what you're looking at? Like, there's so many memes. It's hilarious, and I love our administration for like taking the memes and like just running with it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I love this, and honestly. One of the things that I mean, do you remember when I think it was Labor Day. Labor Day, they had a round table of his cabinet members, and he was like, yes. So we're getting ready to come up on a 3-day holiday weekend. How many days off do I get? Because I actually work 3 jobs. It's pretty funny.
He's like, this is like I'm looking forward to this because I'm the most. I have the most jobs here.
I need it the most, absolutely. Well, guys, we want to make sure we tap in a little bit to what's happening. Off the coast of Venezuela. Maduro is escalating. He is kind of calling Trump's bluff because the Venezuelan Navy is now escorting oil tankers through the blockade zone. We've got some video. I don't think there's a lot of audio. Let's go ahead and roll it. We can kind of talk through it. But this is what's taking place. It looks, wow. Is that the Macarena?
I can't.
Is it the Macarena song? It's the Macarena song. We can bring it back, Krista, because I had no idea. This is what happens when you don't turn the volume up when you're going through these clips.
My goodness. I cannot. I love whoever is running, who is ever in charge of media for this administration. You guys need an award. I am so serious. It is hilarious.
Well, just so you know, a U.S. official has now said Washington is aware of these escorts and considering various courses of action. It's not clear whether these specific ships that are going through the blockade are on the U.S. sanction list, so maybe they're ones that are legitimately allowed, and we don't know. But it says about 40% of tankers have been transported, have transported Venezuelan crude in the recent years. So we'll see what that one is. Keep it plugged here, guys, and on our social media because we will update you as things. But of course, he's gonna try. And when you think about how this fits into the left's narrative, they want to try to see this as a full blown out whatever.
Right. He's a warmonger, and he's not asking permission from Congress.
And like that is a perfect segue. Oh my gosh, you're so cool, Allie. I love that you said that, because the House last night voted. They rejected a Venezuelan war powers resolution by 2 votes, which I can't believe it was only 2 votes. But this presents a clear path for Trump to double down on what he's doing in Venezuela. What they're saying, and it's important that our viewers know this because I had to research this. A war powers resolution it's basically a federal law first done in 1973 that says it checks the U.S. president's power to commit the United States to an armed forces conflict without actually going through U.S. Congress. So I can understand why we want to limit the president's power in that, but check this out. For all the lefties and Democrats that had wine to go with their cheese last night, this is not fair to say that Trump doesn't have the right to do what he's doing off the coast of Venezuela when you have, take a listen, the Korean War, Truman called it police action. He didn't actually get congressional approval for. Vietnam War, they expanded what was called the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, not a formal declaration. Grenada, they said Reagan invaded without Congress. Panama, Bush Sr. invaded. Somalia, where have we heard that before? Clinton led troops to restore democracy. Again, didn't get congressional approval. Haiti, wow, I love where the Clintons tend to go. Clinton sent troops to restore democracy. How well did that work? Again, he didn't get an act of Congress. You've got Bosnia,
why are
Kosovo.
we restoring democracy in different areas? What?
While they're tearing it down here. Bosnia and Kosovo, Clinton led NATO in airstrikes. Said it was how are airstrikes humanitarian? Didn't get congressional approval. Afghanistan and Iraq, this is post 9/11 where Bush used strikes, saying it was, and actually Obama committed to that too. Libya, Obama authorized airstrikes in a no-fly zone, didn't get congressional approval. Syria and Yemen, you've got Obama and Biden conducted strikes against ISIS. Don't forget, this is how we got in Somalia Black Hawk Down. So this has happened on both sides of the aisle literally for decades. So I just, again, I understand the reasoning for it, but if we're not going to fairly gripe about it, what are we truly griping about?
The fact that it's Trump. TDS.
Trump derangement syndrome is in full swing in the holidays.
Books, and they should teach about it in college.
They should teach about it. They absolutely should.
Actually,
I didn't realize.
I'm gonna develop a course. That's what I'm gonna do.
You know,
watch
Allie,
out,
I will
New Year.
tell you,
here we come.
There was one person, and I can't remember her name. She's a senator from California, but she post 9/11, when everybody was, and I say everybody, it was me too, because I was going off of the information that I had, just like our viewers. Yeah. Everybody was, we gotta send a loud message to whoever did this, whoever brought these buildings down. Well, maybe it should have also been a loud message to our CIA, who allowed those pilots to come in under a program, but we're not going to talk about that. But if you want to make a loud noise and go out and go, bomb somebody, whatever, there was one senator from California who spoke up and said, I'm just as upset as she was a Democrat, just as upset as everybody else. But we have to think about this. Do we really want the power of the president to do this without being checked? And everybody called her like a domestic terrorist. I mean, I went back and watched this the other day because I remember being on that bandwagon because honestly, she was a Democrat. So I was like, yeah, of course. But now looking back, I'm like, maybe she was onto something. Like, you look at how we went in to see weapons of mass destruction, like, that weren't there. Like, how many soldiers died?
It was a lot of fabrication, and I really think that there were other things at play with that. I think what President Trump is doing is based on strategy, and it's based on actual true information and intel from the Department of War and our DNI. And the reason why I believe that is because of the people that are heads of that. So we have Tulsi Gabbard, and we also have Hegseth, who are very strong. They've served their boots, right? They're not suits. They didn't just graduate. They didn't graduate from the officers corps and just become an officer. Like they have gone up through the ranks. So they understand, right? They know what's going on. They're really claws in, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, I think there is a difference there. When you say that you're going in for something, weapons of mass destruction, and there really aren't any, it really is just about crude oil and trying to, put your political pacing or placing so that you can be top dog, like that's different. This is something on a completely, totally opposite spectrum. This is really about making sure that America first is handled, like our policies, our people are taken care of.
Yes, that includes what we talked about yesterday with the Monroe Doctrine.
Right.
Right? From going all the way back to James Monroe, who said, you cannot continue to push the Eastern influence into the Western Hemisphere. And that, again, he was largely, well, he came from the party that became the Democrat Party, so you can't argue that this is not something that we've had. We just haven't always enforced it, and we need to, because what we saw is Venezuela, through China and Iran and Russia really having influence in elections and other things, and toppling regimes from Venezuela. That's invading into this hemisphere, and you're just not allowed to do that under the Monroe Doctrine. So I'm so grateful that Trump knows his history and has great advisors, I believe, in this situation around him. Allie, we're going to take a quick commercial break to make sure we get our message from Liberty Cigars. You said there is still a promo for the holidays, or has that expired? I can't remember.
No, it's open mic. You just use open mic.
Okay.
The promo code is open mic, and I think you could still get the 12 days of Christmas. But just buy any cigar. You can buy one cigar. You can buy a box of cigars. Like it's just celebrate for New Year. Celebrate this amazing 1776, amount of money that's going to our troops, right?
Yes.
Celebrate the narco wins that we're having. Every boat that blows up. Our boys over at Trump Tuesday smoke one. It's just celebrate this, just this holiday. Just give
absolutely, and support your open mic ladies by using promo code open mic. We'll be right back with more open mic after this.
From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The Founders Collection honors the visionaries who shaped a nation. The President's House Collection celebrates the leaders who steered it. And the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com, because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OpenMic for 10% off your order. Crazy. I did that voiceover with like a sore throat too. Like I was hoarse.
It was during the peak of your son's football season, remember? Yeah. So your voice could never recover.
It was wild. I was like, I couldn't talk forever.
Because you were a mama in the stands.
And now my girls are in cheerleading, and we practice their cheers in the backyard, and they're like screaming. It's great.
Like, it's great. It's fabulous.
And now they're like, I want to be a musician. I want a piano, and I want a guitar, and I want drums, and I want stuff to make beats. And I'm like, I need a soundproof room.
So mom can like still have peace of mind.
Like, I'm going to send you to the studio. Go there.
Oh, we have one. Where do we have that? Yeah. Well, Allie, we have some good news to deliver regarding Republicans coming together and getting this actually done. Speaker Mike Johnson confirmed that the GOP health care bill passed last night. It will decrease your insurance premiums, they're saying roughly by 11%. No Affordable Care Act, or as you want to call it, Unaffordable Care Act, no extensions. Right. So this is really going to hit the big, rich insurance companies. Let's listen to Speaker Johnson explain it.
Healthcare bill that will bring down the cost of healthcare. The Lower Premiums for All Americans Act does exactly what the title suggests. It will reduce premiums for all Americans by, on average, at least 11% overall. And that's just the beginning. There will be much more to come. More ideas in the first part of next year to bring down the cost of health care. And what the bill did in addition to that tonight is it increases the quality of care, the access to care. It gives persons more options, more flexibility in their health care, and also it adds transparency. We had the PBM, Pharmacy Benefit Manager transparency piece to it as well. Now contrast that with the Democrats' COVID-era subsidy that they wanted to extend. That would only impact 7% of Americans. The bill we just passed impacts 100% of Americans. Their version would impact 7% of Americans, and it would cost taxpayers $350 billion. That is not the way to reduce the cost of health care. The Democrats do not want a solution they just demonstrated because they voted against this bill. They want an issue for the election. It is based on a false narrative. The Democrats broke America's health care system. When they gave us the ACA, the Unaffordable Care Act, 15 years ago, they promised that premiums would come down, that access would increase, and quality of health care would increase. None of that happened because it's a flawed system. Their response right now is to subsidize and continue to shovel taxpayer dollars onto a broken system. We say enough is enough. The Republican Party is the party that is bringing the ideas forward to fix this crisis and fix this problem for everyone. It is a serious problem. We took a big step tonight to do that. We hope that this gets signed into law quickly because it will have the desired effect. We hope the Senate can get this done in short order.
It's fantastic. And don't forget TrumpRx.com. Coming to you soon.
Two things I want to mention really quickly. One of the things, the sound bites that I can't get out of my head from Obamacare, the affordable health care, whatever, that you're going to be able to keep your doctor. If you love your doctor, you're going to be able to keep your doctor. Who here remembers through the pandemic COVID debacle, the rotation of doctors that you were forced to see because your doctor largely couldn't treat you. You couldn't keep your physician. The framework for what we had rolled out in COVID with the breakdown, I think, of you and your family having their individual voice to form treatment during COVID, individual treatment instead of mandates, that was ushered in under Obamacare. That was the framework, just like COVID developed the framework that leads to CBDC. Which our pastor, I love our pastor, he always talks about it. So that's my first thing, is to remember how they broke the healthcare system and then people died through COVID under it. The second thing, I love how Speaker Mike Johnson said here, Allie, he tied it to Republicans working towards the solution. Everything needs to be labeled and titled now going into 2026. Yeah. We have got to be able to tell people what we're doing, what we're fixing, and make it electable.
Right. We have to connect the dots for people because no one else is connecting the dots. And not everybody in America are listening to independent journalists who are free thinkers, so that are actually telling the truth. And so I think this is important for them to do when they are on the, when they get in front of the podium or they're speaking to the news media, that they talk about, here, this was the issue. This is how we're fixing it. That's how it needs to be framed. I don't know. Thank you, whoever the strategist or comms person is for all of this. Like, it's, obviously.
It's funny because what I heard the other day was that they listen. It just takes a while.
Yeah, it takes a lot of coaxing. And then there's a lot of people that are afraid to just hop on and say it. And I'm like, you either got to say it or don't say it. And if you're not going to say it, do you really want to win? What is this about? You got to. Or get off the pot. I don't. Figure it out, sir.
Figure it out. Well, Allie, another bill that just passed. The House just passed legislation. So this is federally. I know we already have this in the state of Florida and a few other states in the nation. But criminalizing transition surgeries for minors. This is huge.
God.
This is children who feel that something is wrong with their body or wrong with their identity, so you are going to actually lop off healthy body parts. Now, we don't do this for people who have eating disorders, who are 90 pounds and say, I feel fat, will you please give me, liposuction? We don't do that. We don't feed into that, right? And certainly not when somebody's a minor. There's states you can't even get a tattoo until you're 18 years old. You can't make those kind of lifelong decisions. So
as a grown woman in her 30s, I cannot get my tubes tied if I don't get 3 consultants to sign off on it. But we're going to lop off the breasts of a healthy 12-year-old. Sure, well, let's do that.
Here's the vote. I think it's a short clip. Representative DeJaris is going to show us the vote here.
The yeas are 216, the nays are 211. The bill is passed without objection. The motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Who are the 211 that voted against this?
Idiots.
Idiots.
I would say the R word, but
make R words great again.
We're going to make the R word great again. Hard R.
R. Well, this fits right in with our next story because this was breaking news yesterday. Obviously, Children's Health Defense is the one that put this out.
Of course they did.
Yeah, Health and Human Services cuts millions in grants to the American Academy of Pediatrics. Children's Health Defense applauds the HHS decision to end 7 multi-million-dollar grants to the American Academy of Pediatrics. And I know this is going to be pushed on the left and through lamestream media as, oh my gosh, see, these are science and healthcare deniers. They're cutting money to the American Academy of Pediatrics. So I did a little digging. And if you think about the bill that was just passed now, that was just voted on, the American Academy of Pediatrics, y'all, strongly supports, this is from their website, strongly supports and advocates for gender-affirming care, a.k.a. lopping off of body parts for transgender youth, viewing it as medically necessary, evidence-based, and that it improves mental health. Go ask people on the other side of the pond, because they thought that 13, 15 years ago, and they're now reversing that decision. So, you know what? You want to denigrate our children, you want to mutilate their bodies, you don't get grant money. You don't get our tax money. Go do your sick stuff on your own.
No, don't even do it on your own, because you need to be arrested and put under
because it's illegal.
Because it's illegal. Thank you very much. It is unconscionable, and I really think that there needs to be some kind of legal action going after people that have mutilated children. It's just I remember once upon a time it was leave women and children alone. Now it's like, no, we're gonna go after women and children. Like, what parts of this does not, like, can we please wake up?
Well, and we talk to a lot of people who we maybe don't always share 100% of viewpoints, but just to have that dialogue. And we've often said here, I don't care what you do as an adult to your body and your choices, as long as you're not, harming other people in the process. So just putting that out there. But these are children. And if you can't see the evil that's behind an arm of our healthcare industry to go after and attack young people at a time in their life, we all remember puberty. How flippin' crazy was that? That you felt like one day you're this person, the next day. I mean, Allie, I'm going to tell you right now, as God is my witness, I was such a tomboy. I played junior tackle until my dad said, no, because they're going to start tackling you for a different reason. And I threw a tighter spiral. I was the quarterback on all of our elementary 5th and 6th grade teams. I threw a tighter spiral than any boy. If I would have been growing up in this generation, they would have been like, well, you need to lop off your breast. And I'm sorry, I kind of like them now. So I'm glad that we weren't growing. I mean, you can't take advantage of children that are going through a time in their life where they're already confused.
Honestly, and they're already taking somebody that is depressed and saying, here, I have a way to fix that. Let me stick this needle in your arm and you'll just go to sleep and never wake up. I mean, wait, they're doing that already in certain areas of the world. Like, this is just wild. I'm glad that it was passed, and I'm glad that people understand what's really at risk here, and they voted to make it illegal. So thank you. So
this is pushing now for some kind of move from Minnesota's Governor Tampon Tim Walz and from Governor Newsom over in California, because they've largely in other areas have considered themselves sanctuary states for these types of surgeries, so that you can go there and largely at the taxpayer's expense, have these types of treatments. So they have to now bend the knee to this federal law. It'll be interesting to see if this gets challenged in court.
I mean, Nicki Minaj kind of drug Gabby Poo through the mud and was like, trans kids? You want to see trans kids, not trans adults, trans kids? Like, creeper. Ew. Creeper. It's weird. Creeper. It's weird. And I'm glad it's illegal. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. We gotta say when the GOP does do something right, and I'm so glad that they got that finished. There is a new massive development, guys. President Trump is reportedly aiming to surge what is called denaturalization of foreigners who obtain their citizenship unlawfully. So these are, if you're a naturalized citizen, that's your green card holders. So you've gone through the process to get here. But what about if that process has been flawed and you're here unlawfully? Elon Omar. So this might include her. And part of why this is so important, I did a little bit of digging. Let's see if we can put this chart up. And I confirmed this, actually, this chart, through the Immigration and Nationality Act. When you are naturalized as a citizen, as a citizen, there are still crimes that you can commit that are considered deportable. And if you can see there in the blue, they're calling it aggregative felonies. But if you are here legally, but you're convicted of a felony, an aggravated felony, also fraud, you can see there that includes fraud, tax evasion, money laundering. I mean, I think all those might hit Omar. But and then you also look over in the orange, crimes of moral turpitude. There's also a chance for theft or fraud there as well. So this is not something that Trump is instituting. This is not a new act. This is not something, this is not an executive order in that sense. This is actually taking the laws that we have on the books from our founding fathers. I mean, this was, I think this was put in oh gosh, I'm not gonna misquote. It was early in our founding that this was put in. So to be able to go back to our history books and say, okay, we're gonna apply this law. Just because you're here legally, if you frauded the system to do that, he's now going to rip their naturalization status. So.
And the only song I can hear in my head is Chris Brown's Deuces.
What is it?
Chris Brown, Deuces. Such a good song.
Not Macarena? What they just played in the...
That was hilarious, by the way.
It was a really slowed down, dark version.
I did want to say one more thing about, and I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier, but the $1,700 that is being given to our troops, this is a tariff dividend. So this is from the money that we have received and accrued through tariffs. And they are just the first people to receive that kickback. Which is amazing.
As they should.
And I'm glad that President Trump is putting our military, who are front lines in defense of our country, our national security and foreign security, all of that. He's putting them first, so I appreciate that.
Great point, Allie. I'm glad you made that point. Hopefully you guys feel like when you tune into Open Mic, you get a little bit of education along with the headlines. It's not just us that's doing that. Elon Musk has posted this video. It's gotten 5 million views so far. And this is pretty amazing because what this person does is actually talk about what Allie just talked about, that tariffs have largely been the income base in our government. Whoever's telling you or making you believe that taxes are how we've always been funded in this country doesn't know history. This is a little bit of a longer video, but let's take a look.
Why aren't schools teaching that there was no federal income tax the first 137 years America was a country? Because there was no legal federal income tax between 1776 until 1913 when they amended or changed the U.S. Constitution. They imposed an income tax for 12 years during the Civil War and in 1894 and 1895, but that was found unconstitutional. It was in the Supreme Court case Pollock v. Farmers Loan and Trust Company, and they struck down the federal income tax. And it remained unconstitutional for another 17 years until 1913 when they passed the 16th Amendment and changed the Constitution. And it has been a little over 120 years since they did that, which means there was no legal federal income tax for the majority of American history. People think that all of these taxes, all of this government intrusion into our lives is the norm, but it is not the norm. This is the norm. This is 1776, and the reason America was the manufacturing center of the world in 1912. America had the largest and most prosperous middle class in the history of the world. American steel, American oil, American automotive. But in 1913, they changed the Constitution, which was the same year that they created a national bank. So right at the same time as they gave the government the ability to reach into our pockets and take our money, they also gave a small group of powerful bankers a monopoly over the printing of the dollar. And they print money out of thin air. They lend the money that they printed to the government, and the government agrees to pay them back with interest using the money that they take from us. And that is why the dollar has been so devalued. That is why you can't afford a house. And it's why college is so expensive.
All right, I'm gonna read this real quick.
Yeah.
I have two great enemies, the Southern Army in front of me and the bankers in the rear. Of the two, the one at my rear is my greatest foe. That was Abraham Lincoln.
Thank you for that, Allie. Thank you for that. Good history lesson there. You know,
that
they changed.
Is Classical Learner. You can find him on, you can go to classicallearner.com. He has his own curriculum that literally teaches children actual true history of American history and world history, brings it all together for a full classical understanding. It is a great program. I absolutely love it. It is amazing. I think you should follow him.
And so, you know, the real takeaway there is that at the time that they amended the Constitution to be able to go into your pockets to get your tax dollars is the same time that they set up a private banking arm.
Repeal the 16th. How about that?
Yeah. And you know what? We're here to educate you so you can educate others, so you can ask those that are running for office if they're aware of this, if they know this. Maybe you share this with them, and let's get this, just like we're getting other things done in the administration. Let's see if we can get this done. We're almost out of time, but I want to make sure we let people know that Trump has put up more plaques in the in the hall that shows all of the individual presidents, and he's literally, they said these plaques have like little sayings, and it looks like Trump just took them right from his Truth Social page, and he was like, Take a listen, because it really pissed off Caitlin Collins from CNN. Take a look.
So these new plaques have just been added to the so-called Presidential Walk of Fame. They almost read, some of them, like Truth Social posts, including the ones under President Obama's that says he was one of the most divisive political figures in American history. Under President Biden's, it describes him as Sleepy Joe Biden, and also says that he was the worst U.S. president in history. There are some that are nicer, including under Ronald Reagan's, for example, where President Trump says at the end that he was a fan of Trump's long before he ran for president. The White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, says the president actually hand-wrote some of these plaques himself.
Wow. That's amazing. That is amazing, because the history books are not going to reflect this unless we actually have conservatives or even just people that are in the middle, that centrists that are actually writing the truth and building these curriculums. I just, these publishers, we need to actually have that discussion. Who are investing in these publishers? And where are they getting their money from? It's not just about the books in the libraries. It's about, or the curriculum that's in the schools. It's about who is advocating for them, because you have to have publishers, and you have to have, what are those people that help you write the book?
Well, and so here in the state of Florida, what we've done with our our best standards in education, because we're seeing the depletion of the Department of Education federally, it's going back to the states. We have Florida editions. I was listening at the school board meeting as people were really complaining because we don't have, what is it called? Global warming or global whatever. We don't have that in our textbooks for science, and it's because it's a Florida edition. Well, you know what? If people didn't like it, Florida wouldn't be leading in so many ways, especially with people moving here. Can we end on a funny? Because this is coming from my fan club of JD Vance hat. He's talking about when he steps out on the tarmac and there's black ice, and coming, you know, we both have lived up north. You know what black ice is like. When you step on it, you're going to hit the ground. So he talks about how he avoided slipping. Take a look.
Sort of the Biden slow shuffle to get over there. I did not want these national cameras to catch me doing anything, you know, because if I wiped out on that runway, you all know that would be national news for the next week. Now, Joe Biden could fall walking up the steps in broad daylight in 80-degree weather. Nobody would mind it. But if me or the president do anything like that, it's going to be plastered all over the news. But now we're here. We've made it. We have not wiped out. And we're here to talk about America's economic comeback. And ladies and gentlemen,
the Biden shuffle.
I love it. I love it. I cannot wait to see him as president. I'm excited. I think he is being mentored properly, perfectly.
Yes. And allegedly.
Yes.
Allegedly, Marco Rubio has said if JD Vance throws his hat in the ring for 2028, Marco Rubio will not run. And that, to me, signifies, ticket. Dose, yeah. So should be pretty interesting, guys. That's it for us here on Open Mic. We're so glad you guys joined us. Don't miss tomorrow, Friday, because I'm sure Allie will be in studio and it's going to be off the charts. Of course, we'll have our wonderful Donald Trump elf here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and make sure you tune in tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, right back here. We'll see you guys then.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
What do you do when the gas is high? Inflation's up in the sky.